I think I'll set it off. So, guys, Steph is an absolute machine. Steph's been in the space for how long would you say now, Steph?
Sales,
Yeah.
December 2024, and then like entirely I've failed so many businesses, so like start of 2023.
Okay, got you. So that'll be interesting, I think, to walk through initially what you tried before getting into high ticket sales. But then, so we can call that, say, geez, not even that long, hey, like a year, like 16 months, more or less, something like that, maybe. So
Yeah,
16
something like
months in the space. The guy's grown in the last 16 months from 0 to 10K a month, 10 to 20, 20 to even $30,000 a month in take home commissions, which is honestly ridiculous. I think once you guys meet a bit more people in this industry, I can only count, I think, three people on my hand who have hit, take home commission months like that in a single month. So Steph is an absolute machine. He knows what he's talking about. You guys can extract a lot of value from him today, and he's going to share a lot more stuff on sort of the mindset side of closing. So I thought, why not let me open up with sort of a mindset question that even I never hit a over a 10K month specifically in the industry as a closer or setter. I was hitting that in management myself. But my question for you, Steph, starting out would be is over your journey being in the industry for then say the last 16 months, going from 0 to 10K a month, then from 10 to 20, and then more specifically 10 to 30. What was the biggest internal limitation that you had to overcome going from 0 to $10,000 a month and then from 10 to 30?
hmm you've asked a perfect question because this is literally what like falls in within the training. 0 to 10K, and this is what I have the training based around, is like from 0 to 10K, because that's where I assume most people are at. It's
Yeah.
just like just believing in your higher power, whether it be you believe in God, you're Muslim, whatever, believing in your own ability as well. The reason why it took me so long to see like consistent and tangible success is because I just never believed in myself. So like, yes, I would do the work, I would like put in the reps, but there was no like intention behind it. I never really believed in myself. I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. Once you get it, like everybody's had that feeling where like it's like that splurge of motivation, and like you have these crazy thoughts and you feel like you can do anything. That's a state that I would say I kept on chasing that state. I never knew what it was until I became aware of it. And at the end of the day, it was literally just belief, like belief in my own ability to actually do it.
And then getting to those $10,000 months, what do you feel like was the internal limitation holding you back from getting from 10 to 20, 20 to 30?
Um, Internal limit. I feel like if you just master 0 to 10, 0 to 10 is much harder than 10 to 20. Like 10 to 20 is like you have the thinking, the mindset is there. It's just a matter of doing more, like doing more reps, putting your foot on the gas. Also. So, like I said, if you heard, I am not the biggest presentation guy. I hate presenting things. So like I'll literally just whip up a document, write a few things that is on my mind, and just go over it. I did put a little bit of effort into this document though, so I mean, at least something was there. Cool. Can you guys see my screen? Is everything all good? Yeah. Thumbs up. Yes. Cool. So, how I went from a 16-year-old kid, which I think 2023 I was 16 years old, if I'm not mistaken, a 16-year-old kid in South Africa, failing several businesses. So, I tried everything. I tried affiliate marketing for Andrew Tate. I tried crypto. I tried drop shipping. I tried a marketing agency. Now, some of these did work, right? Like affiliate marketing, I made money from. Crypto, I made money from. Drop shipping, I made absolutely zero. Like that was a completely stupid business model that I tried. The marketing agency I made money from, but again, they all failed due to internal limitations, which is what I'm going to go over. Here's actually a picture that I found in my gallery, which is April 2024. Cold calling real estate agents at my old house for the marketing agency that I had. So how I went from that to building my dream life at just 19 years old, literally by learning one skill. I honed in on one skill and I mastered that skill. I don't want to brag. I'm not the biggest bragger. Like I hate showing these things, but I mean, in this industry, people listen to people that they see tangible success from. So kind of have to show it. But traveling the world after never traveling once in my entire life, having complete location freedom, flew to Croatia, Italy, Dubai, etc. Moving to my own apartment with my dream view, being able to take care of my family, buying my dream car, spending money without needing to look or think about the price, having complete financial freedom. This is probably the biggest one for me. Like being able to spend money, you don't even have to worry about like how much money went out your bank account, like you're counting every penny. I just don't even look at my bank account anymore. And I attribute my success to many things, but if there is one thing, I attribute it to this book. So you guys have probably seen this book a lot. I know a lot of gurus have talked about this book, but like I don't think people actually understand how powerful the principles are on these book, like is in this book. Because this book you can buy for what, $300-400 from the bookstore. It is so powerful. I bet you right now, if you paid $10,000 for this book, you would read every single page word by word and apply everything. But the fact that it's 300-400 Rand, no one really takes it seriously. Obviously, I'm not going to go in this book and do an entire flipping reading session with you guys. Anyways, so the reason why it took me so long to see success, like I said, in any form of business was due to not having the right thinking. And now that I've gone past this 10K a month stage, past 20K, 30K a month, I can see why. Because 0 to 10K a month, it's literally all a mindset game. It's an identity shift. I also truly believe that from 0 to 10K a month, 10% of it comes from skill, 90% comes from mindset. Because if you think about it, you're literally shifting from someone who makes no money, has never made a single penny online, or someone who has a job in South Africa, earns lower wage, to someone who makes 10K a month, is independent, and has financial freedom. Like, if you just think about that, it's such a huge shift. Like, your life literally changes completely. You have the money that you want, you have the location freedom you want, you have the time freedom you want, you don't have a boss you have to listen to anymore. It's like a complete shift in your own identity. Therefore, we need to shift our own identity first by actually being able to shift it. One mindset coach that I had at the time, he said, people think you have to do things to get things so you can be a different person. It's a complete opposite. You have to be the person first so you can do things and then you'll get things. So it all starts internal first. And like I said, just from applying these principles, my life literally changed, and I have it documented in 2 months, literally 2 months. I'll give you a timeline. So I had a fitness coaching offer that I was on in December, which I started with. I was making like 2-3 grand a month from that. Offer wasn't really good. Then I hopped into another e-commerce offer. Offer started dying as well. And then I hopped into another e-commerce offer, which is the one I'm going to talk about now. I got an opportunity to work at this e-com coaching company, April 2025 specifically. The first month was horrible. Like, the manager was about to fire me. My numbers were horrible. I was costing the company money. I was literally in the red. I applied these principles. So I bought the book, Think and Grow Rich. I applied it. Sorry, people are joining the waiting room. Damn, bro, you got a lot of people here. I applied the principle.
So I was going to say, like, this is the biggest turnout I think I've seen yet. So
Okay.
great to see people. Love it. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay. So the first month was horrible, was in the red, about to get fired. I told the manager, hey, bro, like, literally give me 2 more weeks. I then applied the principles I'm about to show you from this book. The next month, I instantly saw the results, and I hit my goal of 10K a month that I set out. After I hit that 10K a month, I became the top rep for over 8 months and counting, making over 20-30 grand a month, promoted to become the sales manager. Now I still close, but now I manage a multi-7-figure company pushing to the 8 figures a year. So here's actually the screenshot that the manager posted at the time. Here's the before numbers in April. So I took 38 calls. I closed 1 deal, which was for 2,500. I was costing the company $2,600. 20 days later, so May 20th, you can see I clearly closed 64. Actually, no, that's profit and loss. Was cash collected. Anyways, let's just use profit and loss. $64,000. Sorry, $71,000 in 20 days. Like, that is a complete shift. 12th of April, 2025, I wrote in my notes on my iPhone, and I said this. This is literally what I wrote. I intend to acquire $10,000 per month. I intend to acquire this by the 31st of May. I intend to give my effort, time, energy, and into customers, speaking with potential customers, helping them to make a decision. I intend to accumulate this by practicing sales daily, taking sales calls daily, and following up with people daily, and becoming money and success conscious by thinking as if failure is non-existent and making decisions based on my future self. I would tell myself this every single day until I believed it. I would literally tell myself a lie, so I believe that lie, and I operate out of that state. Because when you go into the state of belief, anything is possible. Like when you literally, I think a few of my friends know this, and I've told them like literally, it's just belief. If I want to become the president and I solely believe I'm going to be the president, I will eventually be the president. It's inevitable if you just believe. Sounds crazy, but it's true. And then June 2nd, so at the end of May, you can clearly see I closed $100,000, $100,250 in cash collected, which put me at $10,000 a month. So this book, I've given this book to my sales reps, my friends, even my family members. I want these principles to change your life as much as it has changed mine. And literally, if there's one key principle of this book that you can take away, it's that you can achieve anything you put your mind to and think about. In the Bible, it says, as a man thinketh, so is he. It's true. Everything you think about is what your life is. If you only think about negative things and how bad your life is and how corrupt the government is, that is what your life is going to look like. But if you think about positive things, you think that you are a success, you think that you can achieve anything, you think you're great, you think your life is amazing, that is what is going to happen. You'll only believe me, because I know many people are like skeptical. You'll only believe me once you try it. Trust me. So obviously, like I said, I'm not going to go through the entire book, but there's literally only 4 principles you need to know. And it's desire, faith, auto-suggestion, and persistence. I have read this book probably countless of times. I've read these key principles probably hundreds of times, because it's literally, this is literally the key formula to get you to where you want to be. Sano, like most people actually apply these principles that are successful without them even knowing. But like here is what people are actually doing without them telling you. So the first one is desire. We need to have a goal. Like Sano said, we need to have something that we want to get to. We need to visualize it. We need to see it. Key thing that I can tell you is be specific about your goals. Don't leave it up to chance. When I was failing my businesses, I would say, yeah, I want to make 10K a month. But that was it. That's where it stopped. Like, I never said, when do I want to make it? I never said how I'm going to make it. I never said, what will I do in return to make it? Never said any of that. I was like, yeah, I want to make 10K a month. Be specific about your goals. When do you want to make it? How do you want to make it? Like, what type of business do you want to have when you make it? What type of role do you want to have when you make it? What company do you want to work for? What do you want to do when you make 10K a month? Like, all of these things, get so specific. A key quote in the Bible, which I can't find, but it's centered around this explanation, which is, God will never give you less than what you desire, provided with work. There's also a quote that's like, knock and the door shall be opened, seek and you shall find type of thing. It's pretty much the same as this. Obviously, you can't desire without work, because then you're dreaming. Second one is faith. Like I said, everyone has been in a state of belief where you feel super motivated, your goals feel seamless, everything seems possible. Like, I'll give you an example. You're scrolling on Reels, you come across a motivational video, you get this like crazy amount of energy and like motivation. That's like fake belief, because you're getting your dopamine from something else. But like literally just sitting with yourself and thinking about your goals, and like just sitting there, just close your eyes. You don't need to do a whole meditation. Close your eyes, think about your goals, and tell yourself, like, there is literally nothing stopping me from getting to my goal. It is so possible, and I have the full ability to get there. What I've just mentioned now, imagine operating out of that state every single day. You think if you had to phone a prospect and try to set them a call, you wouldn't set them? They would feel your energy over the phone. I made sure before I started with my sales day that I truly, single-heartedly, and confidently believe that I will hit my goal. Because I'll put a setting example, because I know most people have said this here. When you solely believe in your goal and you have this crazy amount of confidence and belief and energy, the prospect feels that. So the questions that you say don't matter. What you say doesn't matter. It's just the way that you're coming off, your cadence, your tonality, your pacing, the way that you sound, like all of these things. The prospect feels that. In terms of getting your faith, there's many ways. The 2 main ways that I got my faith was belief in God and auto-suggestion, which is the third principle I'll get into. But belief in God is, I read my Bible every single day. There were a couple quotes from the Bible that I'll tell myself every single day, which I will get into. Number 3, auto-suggestion. Probably the most important principle out of these 4. This is literally like, if there's one thing that would change your life, it's this. So think of this principle like this. You're a bouncer at a club and you're in charge of letting people inside. Obviously, let's disregard like the corrupt and sketchy bouncers that just let everybody in. But pretend you're someone that, you're in charge of letting people in, letting people out. You only want to let in people that seem good, safe, and secure for the club. And you want to get rid of people from coming inside that look unsafe and sketchy. So what order suggestion is, it's intentionally choosing which thoughts to let inside your mind and which thoughts to remove from your mind. Now, the objective is to only let in and suggest positive thoughts in your mind that help you getting closer to your goal. And eventually, the more you do this with practice, you will naturally and only think of positive thoughts that get you closer to your goal. So think of it of affirmations, but I hate the word affirmations, but it's pretty much affirmations with high intention and belief. Because like I said, like when I was trying to start my businesses, I said, yeah, I want to make 10K a month. I want to do this. I want to do that. There was no intention. There was no belief behind it. So when I say order suggest thoughts and keeping the positive thoughts in your mind, I mean things like hitting my goal of 10K a month is inevitable. I will hit my goal by the 31st of May. Faith is expectancy. If I have faith, I can expect everything. Everything happens for me, not to me. Prospects love hearing my voice and talking to me. Prospects feel guided when I set them on a call. Prospects feel safe enough to share their situation with me. I am the best setter at my company. I come up with great ideas to implement to be the best setter there is. Notice how all of these are not like, I want to do this and I want to do that, or I need this and I need that. It's in the current. It's happening now. And you believe that, your brain is going to start operating from that state. So you're literally suggesting to yourself all the things that you want to hear. Eventually, the more you suggest those things, your mind starts believing you and you start operating out of that state of belief. So key takeaway, be super aware of your thoughts. Most people, and this is why people live mediocre lives, is they go about their day unconscious of their thoughts, and those thoughts unknowingly rule their day, it rules their week, it rules their month, it rules their year, and eventually it rules their entire life because they have no idea what they're thinking about. So suggest to yourself the right thoughts every day, every hour, and every second. Like, I mean this, every second, be conscious of your thoughts. And when you're conscious of your thoughts, and let's say you're in a good state, right? You're in a state of belief, ideas are coming to you, you feel amazing, then you want to reflect on those thoughts. Journal about it so you can come back to them. Like, I literally have I think a few friends of mine have seen this. I have a folder on my iPhone in the notes section. It's literally called thoughts. These, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is literally just me reflecting on my thoughts. I would write it down whenever I would get in the state. Because what I do is when I'm not in the state, I'll go back to it and then I'd read it. I'm like, yeah, now I'm back in the state. I would die for another 5 hours. Writing down your thoughts, reflecting on it, and journaling about it is so important. And the reason why I'm so like nitty gritty on just the thoughts is because, and again, you will only believe this once you actually tried. You can literally change your entire life by just changing your thoughts. There's no question about it. And the last, to put the piece.
Do you mind if I cut you off for a second there?
Please, brother.
Sorry.
Please.
Do you feel like one of the reasons you're able to be such a brilliant close is being able to change those beliefs within people that come onto your calls due to these principles that you're sharing?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you why. People have these thoughts that they believe, which are not true. It is your duty as a setter or closer to tell them that. Like, hey, buddy, like this is the reason. You're scared. You're uncertain. You're looking for a guarantee. It's not going to happen. It's actually crazy that you mentioned that. As a closer, there's like, obviously you get sections of the call, even for selling. There's one section called pre-handling, where it's pretty much you're pre-handling the prospect's objections. My favorite part of the call. All I'm doing is I'm calling out their thoughts and their beliefs. Like, that is it. So it's like the part of the call where you can challenge them a bit. Then the last part, to put the piece of the puzzle, persistence. You cannot do all of this without persistence, because sales is a game of no. Like, you will get no's. It's inevitable. You need to adopt the emotional resilience to keep on going regardless of how many no's you get. Remember, like I said here, faith is expectancy. Regardless of how many no's you get, you are expecting a deal to come because you know you're putting in the work. You know you're operating out of a state of belief. So keep on going. Regardless of how your bad day is, how bad your day is, there are literally people out there, and this is what helped me keep on going, is I would literally picture the story in my mind. There's people out there in war dying, and you're here complaining about a prospect saying, no, we're not closing. Like there are much worse things to complain about. So stop being I don't know if I can swear on this, but stop being a P word and keep dialing, because there are much worse things to cry about and complain about. Now that is the wishy-washy training. I know I haven't got much into sales, but literally these principles is what falls within sales. The last part, I want to go over a couple like sales mindset things, like actual focus sales mindset principles. But Sano, is there anything you want to mention before I do that?
It's funny because sometimes, I haven't been that in tune since I left management, left setting, left closing with other setters, closers, managers. And it's funny that the things that I share that I've learned over my journey just from experience are pretty much not entirely word for word the same, but the exact same principles. Like I saw there, you're about to go into mindset things that allow you to be a top performer. One of the main things I hammer in with everyone on the call is detachment.
Yeah.
Is detachment. So it's interesting just seeing these types of things come up from someone else as well, knowing that I'm not also just cuckoo.
Yeah, yeah.
Knowing that
Yeah.
I haven't fallen off the wagon somewhere.
I think that's
But yeah, I don't have too much to add, man. You can keep going.
awesome. Awesome. Um, and yeah, so like I said, when you adopt these four principles I've just shared, it will automatically fall into the mindset you need to have when selling. But I know we're obviously here for sales, but without the mindset, we cannot sell. But here are more focused sales mindset principles I and every great closer that I've worked with, that I've trained, abides by. And I put this principle here for a reason, because it's literally the most important principle. It's being detached. It's not giving a shit whether the deal closes or it closes. Like you literally just don't care. And detachment comes through belief, because you know the results will come if you just believe. Like one of my favorite things that someone told me, which I worked with, he said, bro, what's there to worry about? Faith is expectancy. Things are gonna come if you just believe. So if I believe things are coming, why would I worry about the deal closing? Which is why I'm so detached. Because I know I'm a great closer. I know I have the skills. I know I have the belief. Therefore, the results are going to come. It's just a matter of time. Also, when you're detached, the prospect feels us. No one likes a commission breath salesperson across the phone trying to sell them into something. They're like the people, and I'll use an analogy. They're like the people that don't care. Think about it like this. I know there's some women in here, but let's say a boy is trying to get a girl. Girls don't like it when men are so like onto them and they just want to like they're so affectionate and they just want to like get the number and stuff like that. They're like the guy that doesn't even talk to them, doesn't give them attention, is just there, just being him, focusing on himself. It's the same thing in the sales call. Prospects get it's a law of attraction. They feel that like magnet energy and they just want to come to you. This is the biggest principle. I cannot stress it enough. Like literally put a post on your wall, say, be detached. Literally be detached. This will help you with so many deals. Second
Can I
one.
ask you, can I
Yeah.
ask you something briefly on detachment? Because
Mhm.
in terms of setting, you can also tie this into closing. What I kind of hammer down with people that I train, that I used to manage, etc., as well, is like you mentioned, when you believe in your skill set so much, you know the inputs that you do every single day will lead to the output regardless. So obviously the first part and the main part, like 90% of it is just being completely detached. But say in terms of setting, when I would, pull up the Airtable or the CRM and I'd speak to a singular set and I say, this is how many conversations you've done. This is how many links you sent to get this many calls booked. You need this many calls for this many shows for this many closes. So if you're completely detached from the conversations you have and you just tell yourself every single day, regardless of the daily output I get, if I am doing 100 conversations over the span of a month, that will lead to my target, regardless if I get no closes for one day, no closes for a week, no closes for 2 weeks. If every single day I show up with the exact same intention and inputs, I will receive the same result inevitably that I'm looking for. And I guess that can tie into closing. You know how many calls you need to take, how many show ups you need, the show rates, etc. Because you have such an unwavering belief in your ability that regardless of the output on that day, that week, 2 weeks, the results will inevitably fall into place just from the inputs showing up every day as well.
100%. This is why a lot of people fail in this industry, is because they have a good month, the next month they do shit and they give up. It's just, if you just focus on doing your inputs, the outputs will come. If you stop doing your inputs, the outputs won't come. Let me screen share. Cool. Second one, which comes from the first one as well, is the I don't give a F word mindset. You just don't care. Whether the deal happens, it doesn't happen, you just don't care. And when I take sales calls, like before, when I used to take sales calls, I was so attached. Like I really, really wanted the deal to close. Prospect would feel that, and they would repel from me. But if I just operate from a state of, buddy, whether you close or not, it doesn't really impact my life. Like I don't care. And this goes into the third point. So all of this is like going into each other, which is number 3. Service instead of commissions. So stop worrying about your commissions. Worry about serving the client. How can you help them? Not can you help, how can you help yourself? How can I make more money from this deal? No, how can I help them? And you know what's much better than a single $200,000, $400,000, $500,000 commission check is someone's life absolutely transforming. Whether it be health, money, mindset, whatever it is, that gives me much more dopamine than a single commission check. Is seeing someone's life change. So be there for the service, don't be there for the commissions. And this point 3 is what allows me to have the I don't give a shit mindset. I'll say that word instead, is because, buddy, like I'm here to help you. I'm not here to help myself. I'm here for you. So whether you close or not, I couldn't care less. I'm just here to help you. And that's how I start every single one of my sales calls, funny enough. I tell them that. Then number 4, 99% of the time, you probably know the answer. Trust me, you know the answer. Before you go talk to your sales manager, before you go talking to Sunil, before you go talking to your mentor, ask yourself, hey, like I actually like sit with yourself for a couple of minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You will eventually find the answer. Why? If you just believe in your ability so much, ideas just come to you. Like I said, it's a thing where you have that dopamine rush of motivation and you believe in yourself so much. How many ideas start coming to you? It's the same thing when you're in a setting call or you encounter a problem. The answer will come to you if you just believe. Number 5, sales is a sport. It took me a while to know this because I would take sales calls. I'm like, why aren't these people closing? I just realized I wasn't putting in enough practice. Sales is literally a sport. Like an analogy I like to use is like basketball. If you look at Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players, this dude, how many times did he shoot a shot before the game even started? How many hours of game tape did he watch before he went into a game? How much belief did he actually have in himself? He had so much belief, and it came from repetition. And this is the boring part about sales, is to get good, it comes down to repetition. Confidence comes from competence, meaning the more you do it, the more confident you get, which means the more deals you will close. So one thing I used to actually, have I put it here? No, I haven't. So one thing I used to do before I started my sales day was, it's a framework that I've given to all of my sales reps. It's called RAS, R-A-S. Before every single day, I would follow this framework. I would role play, I would analyze, and I would study. So I would role play the call, making sure I understand everything I need to go into it, going into the sales day. I would also review that role play to make sure, hey, am I doing this good? Am I doing that bad? Like, what's going on? Analyze. I would analyze every single one of my calls. Because sometimes we think we're doing good. When you analyze your calls, you're like, damn, I sound like a dickhead. I sound horrible. It's different when you analyze your calls. And then lastly, study. Study Sunil. Study great setters. Study great closers. Study your mentors. But when we learn from people that are great, we start adopting those principles, and then we can start selling great. And again, it all comes down to repetition. Number 6. There's so many people just joining the meeting. Thinking outcomes. People. Thinking outcomes, not scripts. Now, I'm not saying scripts are bad. Yes, use a script in the beginning, 100%. Make sure you know what questions you want to ask. But once you know the script, once you know what questions to ask, start thinking of in a way of not what do I want to ask, start asking in a way of what do I have to ask? Think in a way of what do I actually want from this question? Like, what am I trying to achieve here? So if you go into a setting call, obviously someone has taught you his entire script and like broken down these different stages. Ask yourself in the stages, like, what am I actually trying to get from this question? And then your setting calls, instead of them being 20 minutes, can shift to 10 minutes, then can shift to 5 minutes. If you look at my sales calls these days, I take calls for like 30, 40 minutes. That's it. My questions aren't that, I don't have many questions because I'm getting all the outcomes that I want from the prospect. They told me their problem. They told me what they want. They told me the situation. They told me that they haven't invested into something because it's been fear, which I've already pre-handled. They told me the consequence. They told me their goals. I have everything I need. I don't need to ask any more questions for the sake of asking questions. I can get into my pitch and then they buy. So yes, like I said, study your script, study your questions. But after that, forget it. Think in outcomes and just ask yourself like, hey, what am I actually trying to get from this? What outcome am I trying to get? Number 7, your income equals your talk time. This took me also a long time to kind of realize is I hated talking to people before I got into sales. Like a lot of my friends know this. I was shy, I was timid, I would never strike up a conversation with strangers. But the more I started talking to people and the more I started enjoying it, the better I got. And the more I started doing it because I actually liked it. And also understanding this, it shifted things for me is thinking my income is directly correlated to how many people I talk to. So if I can talk to more people, I can make more money. Therefore, I gotta love talking to people. Because no one wants to do something that they hate, right? That's like killing your soul. So start loving talking to people. Start love learning about their story. Do more DAOs. Talk for longer hours. I don't care if you do it. Like my team tells me sometimes, hey, Steph, I did 150, 200 DAOs a day. I don't care. How many hours did you talk to people? That's what I care about. And then the last one, which is I always leave the best for first and the best for last, which is being you. Don't be someone you're not. Just be you. And something like being you just comes down to using your advantages and your disadvantages and adjusting to it. When I talk to people, I'm not much of a curious person. I'm not the type of person to ask you about your whole life story and understand where you've been and what you've done. Like I'm not curious. But in sales, we've got to be curious. We've got to ask some questions. We need to understand things. So I had to adjust that. Then the other side was I'm like, when I talk to people, I'm probably not the most friendliest guy. I am probably like, if you see me in person, you try to become friends with me, it's probably going to take a while because I'm just not the best with like making friends with strangers. But I use that to my advantage. That allowed me to challenge people more because that was my strength. I'm really good at challenging people. I'm good at calling them out, which is why I'm so good at pre-handling objections because I call them out in their thoughts and their beliefs. Like Sano said, like, is that something that helped you? And I said, yes, that's my advantage. So look at your disadvantages. Don't see it as a disadvantage. Just ask yourself, like, how can I work around this? How can I use that disadvantage to my advantage? If you're a person who talks a lot, use that to your advantage. Talk about your story. Because when you share your story, the prospect wants to share their story. If you are someone who is like me and you're also not curious, then just go to a stranger in person, which I've literally done this. Just ask them random questions. Train your brain to be curious. I would literally post videos of myself on Instagram a while ago, going up to strangers, asking them questions. It was painful for me to do that. It was so uncomfortable, but you will find that comfort in that uncomfortable situation and it will help in your sales goals. But again, be you. Don't be someone you're not. If you're a person who doesn't speak at a high pitch, then don't speak at a high pitch. And like I said, these principles will get you to making 10K a month, but they will also take you to making 20K, 30K a month. Hopefully you get further than that as well. Yeah, that's it. I've left 15 minutes left for questions.
Brilliant stuff. I think one thing before we dive into the questions, because we do have a huge turnout. Like I mentioned in the announcement, guys, also, yeah, like thank you so much, Steph. This was incredible. I think everyone's going to benefit. Everyone's probably feeling that sense of motivation right now. I can damn well bet on that.
Okay. Ruan is first.
Yo, what's up, Steve? Thank you for that. That was very good. Excited to get dialing now. Um, but yeah, man, I'm currently obviously setting, and I've been wanting to get into closing since the start. Like I knew I wanted to rather do closing. What would you say is the best things to focus on for that transition? And then how to train for that transition by yourself. Obviously, role plays and stuff, but you need a gap to actually get a role. But before that, how can I train so long that when I get that opportunity, I'm actually able to open up the door and step in and do a good job.
Why do you want to get into clothing? Like, what kind of
I want to
shift
get
did you feel like that?
why I want to get into it because I get more time to talk to people. And I feel if I can get more time to speak to people, there's a higher chance for me to actually change their perspective and the way that they think. Um, and with setting as well, it feels like sometimes you speak to dead ears. Um, but yeah, I just feel like
When you say
I've
daddy,
got more.
when you say
Yes.
daddy, I mean,
I mean, like, especially with like your B2C guys, a lot of times it feels like I'm struggling to get through to that point of having a good conversation with them because they either just want to get off the call immediately or they don't have the mindset that we are looking. It's like obviously I need to create that, but yeah, it's pretty hard to get on the call and then all of a sudden this guy's just like, nah, I wanted to do it, but not anymore. So I'm just gonna run off. Um,
I hear you. I hear you.
mm,
So I'll tell you this, bro. When I made that transition, when I was nearly getting fired to actually getting to my 10K a month, I would say 75% of those deals came from outbound. So calling people. So then you need to ask yourself, so is it really the leads and the fact that I'm just calling them out of the blue? Or is it myself that just is not showing up properly, is not sounding the best that I
mm,
possibly can, and like conducting this call as best as I possibly could?
yeah.
If that's what's showing up in your setting, it's probably what's going to show up in your closing. And I'm not saying this
Okay.
to pull you down and say you can't get into closing. 1,000,000%. Any setter can get into closing, but you got to look within first and internal and say like, hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm
Mm,
sounding wrong. So I would look
yeah.
with before you think about a transition.
Okay. So first, yeah, first just like get the setting things really nailed on the head
Correct.
to make easy transition. Thanks. Appreciate that.
So, Carl,
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I just want to say thank you for the call. You gave some real good advice. But when you said you make notes on your phone with all of the thoughts you have, is that only positive thoughts regarding sales, or is that like your overall daily thoughts?
Just daily thoughts, whatever comes to
Daily?
my mind. It could be personal life, could be sales, could be business, could be things about my family, could be anything.
Okay, thank you. And what's your approach when a prospect says, I need to think about it?
They're telling you that on a selling call.
No, like just overall, because I'm getting into setting and I see online, most people always say like, yeah, I need to think about it. I need to think about it. And I've kind of have my own conclusion on how to handle it, but I just want to hear from your side as well. Like if a prospect says, I need to think about it, in your opinion, what's the best way to handle that objection?
So we only have 9 minutes, so I wish I could go into our explanation, but the first step is actually understanding what's behind that. Biggest principle
Okay.
is never listen to what the prospect says, listen to what they mean behind what they say, which means
Okay.
they don't want to think about it. There's just fear under that, and they don't want to tell you that.
Okay.
So you got to call it
Okay.
out.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
The smoke screen, bro. It's what you call a smoke screen because I need to think about it as just something that they say in order to escape the actual thing that they want to say. So
Right.
you need to
Okay.
uncover what's the actual root reason of them wanting to think about it. So you need to uncover that. So it's I need to think about it as bullshit.
Yeah.
It's rubbish.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Sure. Just little thing I want to add on that. If you are encountering that, like everybody, if you're encountering that objection, one easy way to overcome it is like ask the prospect this. Okay, cool. If you knew you couldn't fail, would you do this? Yes, I would. Okay, cool. So there's just uncertainty, right? Yes. Handle that uncertainty. Kanya.
Steph, hope you're good. Great session. I've got a few questions. I hope I'll be able to ask them all. Um, Firstly, the most difficult objection that you've had to deal with. If you can tell me what that is and how do you navigate around that? Next question would be, I know that you're probably managing quite good setters and closers, but what would you say is the best thing that your best setter and closer are doing that your worst and your worst closer isn't doing at this point in time?
I'll answer the last
Sorry
one.
to cut you off. I think Kanya, like I'm super happy you prepared multiple questions, but due to the amount of time we have, I think pick the favorite one you want to ask, and we'll just run with that. Which I
Most
think
difficult, yeah,
the better question was the latter question.
yeah.
To be honest, bro, it's something so simple. The top closers and top setters are so detached. The bottom closers and bottom setters are so attached to the deal. That is it. It's got nothing to do with skill. Maybe there's some skill things there. It's got nothing to do with work ethic. It just comes down to attachment. Like my top closer takes calls like he's chilling on the beach. Doesn't give a shit.
Nice. Thanks, Steph.
Yes, sir. Savannah, I think she's on the screen first.
Hi. So yeah, I wanted to ask, well, firstly, what I realized when getting into this space, I was really scared to get on calls and to call people and dial. I was like, no, this is not for me. Like I want to just be DMing on messages. But have since realized that really the only way to grow and to get better is to actually get on calls and to speak with people and, really gain confidence. So I just wanted to ask, I'm currently on a setting role where I'm obviously dialing people, chatting to them. And a lot of the times I find when I call them, the prospects actually aren't maybe necessarily qualified. And then I downsell them to like a cheaper offer. But I don't know if that's just me, like if my skills aren't good enough to actually dig deeper what the problem is to try and obviously sell them the higher ticket, or if I'm like, okay, no, this person actually can't afford it. I want to downsell because I feel like I just kind of immediately go to a downsell when they give me an objection. So maybe I don't want to handle it, like go head on with it. So it's kind of like, how do you know, like when you're dealing with somebody, if they actually can go to the higher ticket price or if you should just downsell them?
Are you closing or setting?
No, I'm setting.
So are you pitching them the price?
No, so I'm obviously pitching them the call to go on with the closer, but a lot of them will say like, oh, they just don't have the money now, or they're not in the correct like time zone because it's an American company as well. So he only really wants people in from the States. But a lot of them will just say like, oh, they're university students and they work part-time, so they're only maybe making like $500 a month. And then the like script that I've been given is if they're making less than that, then it's kind of like downsell. But then I feel like I'm just sending so many people to the downsell and not seeing if I can actually get them booked on a call, and then maybe like the closer can change their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would give you a longer explanation. I'd obviously have to look into it more. But if most people you're talking to make less than $500 a month, then your answer is simple. Stop downselling them because you're just going to make less money. So one thing I like to ask is after my series of questions, and this is very key to note this, once I have their problem and I know what their goals are, a simple question you can ask, and they will appreciate it if you're asking the right way. Once you have these outcomes, is saying, hey, Savannah, for you to be able to get to XYZ outcome, so you can make XYZ money, like what capital or how much capital do you have set aside so you can actually get there? Because I want to see you win. So the key difference is that, yes, you're asking about money, but for their best intention. If they push
Yeah.
back, they'll be like, I don't want to tell you my capital, we'll be like, well, then I'm not sure which partnership or which package to kind of give to you because I want to see you get your goal. And if I give you the wrong package, it's not going to get you there.
Hi, Steph, how are you?
And you, man.
Lovely, lovely. So you actually answered a lot of my questions that I had written before, so that's good. But I want to ask, right? You were a setter before, and I want to know, I mean, a closer, sorry. So currently, I'm a setter, and we do take notes if it's phone setting. I just want to know when the setter gives you notes on the prospect, what would you consider a good standard that you can use as a foundation in your call?
Yeah, that's a good question, by the way. I want to understand the situation. So like what they do for work and how much money they're making. I want to understand the problem. By the way, I'm using this for very like niche specific. So like this is if it's a biz op opportunity, like selling them into something to help them make more money. It's typically what most people sell, but it's industry, it work for industries, which is what is the situation? So if it's work, what do they do for work? If it's fitness, like what are they currently doing for their fitness to lose weight or whatever? Think into the problem. What is making them want to reach out? So what's going on with their current situation that makes them want to do this? It's either they make not enough money, they're not able to lose a weight, whatever. Then I want to understand how much they know about our company. Like how much do I need to get into the presentation? Do they already know so many things? Or do they know nothing and need to go into a full presentation? So how much they know about us, the founder, company, etc. And then the last thing I want to know is financial. How much money do they have saved up? How much money are they making now? What is their credit score if you have any financing options? That's pretty much it. Also, sorry, the first one, which I messed up, which is what do they want? Like, what's the goal?
To cut you off, Karaba, that's an amazing answer. Steph, do you have to bounce like 7 p.m. sharp? Do you have a hard cutoff now?
No.
Okay, amazing. All right, then we'll leave it to these last 3 questions, guys. Unfortunately, then we can wrap it up here.
Cool. So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Daz.
Cool.
Great.
Karabo.
Yo, Steph, what's up, bro? Appreciate you coming on. Yeah, I just had 2 questions. When you say like, at the start you almost got fired off of that offer, I just want to know like what was the main beliefs that you had at the time specifically that you had to change most and that you see in most other reps right now? And right now I am an appointment setter, so this is my second question. So I want to transition into closing, right? But I just want to know from a closer's perspective, when you do lose a deal, right? And it's a deal that you should have closed. How do you process it without it affecting your next call?
I'll answer the first one because that's more important. The second one's a simple answer. Like, if you lost a deal, don't take it to heart. Nothing crazy. Like, everybody loses deals. First one, which I'm just trying to remember the question again. So, like, what's the biggest mindset shift is what I'm kind of hearing between top closers and bottom closers?
Yeah, pretty much just like limiting beliefs maybe that you had at the time that you see in most setters right now or like closers.
I would say Kanya asked that question, which is just attachment. Top closers are detached, bottom closers are very attached. Last thing is belief. Like the top closers just believe in their ability. And the hard thing is you need to believe in order to achieve. You cannot achieve and then believe. There's no way. So just believe in yourself and in your higher power, whatever. Believe in yourself.
Oh, sweet, man. Thanks.
Gemma's iPad.
Oh, I didn't know it's safe as that. Anyway, thanks for the call. I really, really enjoyed it. The biggest thing is a lot of setters or closers or whatever, you feel very, very grounded, right? You guys are very calm, very collected. When you're talking to them as a prospect, you feel quite safe, I suppose. You're providing a safe space. Was there ever a time you felt quite rattled or unsteady in a way? And what did you do during that call to overcome it?
There's been a lot of wrecky calls, but you need, as a closer, as a setter, you need to be able to have the confidence, the what's the other word? like you said it, right? You got to be grounded. You got to be able to have the ability to realize that, you know, the worst possible outcome is this person saying no. So what do I have to lose? So I've had many calls where the prospects like swearing at me in the beginning and like they're pissed off at me and my questions. Then they buy at the end of the call because I literally just didn't care. So again, it literally, like, this principle I will overstate and I'll say to the day I die. It's just being detached. Like
Yeah,
if you
I was like
just
detachment.
don't care and you're so detached, whether this prospect swears at you or not, you're like, I'm sorry if that upset you. But what else can you do?
Yeah. Reps.
And so, just my last question. Would you say that staying with a script or like a specific frame from A to Z consistently is very good? Or should I just like freestyle? Do you think I need to constantly stay with a script? Or do you think I need to constantly change it up or like get to the point where I can freestyle so good? Because for me, I'm trying to understand where I should be. Should I follow the script or should I freestyle?
So I'll tell you this. The goal is to never have a script. Like that's the end outcome. You can just sell to anybody. If a flipping person comes to you in the middle of the road, you can sell them anything. That's the goal without having a script. But in the beginning, you need to know the script. You need to know the questions. You need to know the different stages of the call. Because once you get so good, you'll get to a stage where like you will literally conduct an entire sales call without needing the script. And it will be like you don't follow the script A to Z, but you get all the outcomes that you need from the call. Because remember, a sales call in the discovery is a series of questions. We ask questions to get certain outcomes. If we can get those outcomes in different ways, doesn't matter as long as we got the outcomes. So to answer your question, tangibly, study the script, know the questions, and then be able to never look at it again.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
But sweet guys, Steph, thank you so much for staying the extra couple minutes here as well. I massively appreciate you taking the time to do this. Guys, Steph, I didn't pay Steph a cent to do this call. He came and did this call out of the love for the game and for the love of sharing his knowledge. So all of you guys, go drop Steph a follow on Instagram if you want to share your Instagram, Steph. Send him any messages, just whatever you want to do. You're an absolute legend, bro. I really appreciate you coming out of your own way to share your knowledge of other people, and it's a true testament to the character you have and also partly the reason that you are where you are. So thank you so much for coming on.